And we are live at
7:05.
Are live
Call
for Callcast Broadcast.
Overseas, and they need to learn this stuff now. Even if you're not going to be in ministry, you should learn how to reach those that are in your general vicinity. So what does it look like to practically start practicing, searching for the unseen?
Yeah. So it's the critical skill, and I want to amplify one thing you said, because you said, some of you are processing called to work cross-culturally. Some of you are processing called to work in your birth culture. Many of you are just going to be Christians who are serving, right? So this isn't, hey, those are the guys or the ministry people. This isn't everything. This is what everyone. Single person who signs on to Jesus' agenda, we are caught up into his story. He wants us to be light and salt and beauty and hold fast the word of life to tell the world. So these are skills that everybody wants. And if you're going to come join my team, or my daughter's out, and some of you are old enough, at the age where you could be out interning with them, what we want is for you to know in your birth culture how to have Jesus early, Jesus often. You're Jesus people, we're Bible people, loving invitation to follow. You learn the skills of having to do that and to be able to see people that normally we would overlook. So I think the starting point, beginning to learn that, I think actually comes back in spiritual formation. So instead of being like a practical skill, it comes back in spiritual formation, because what it says is it's a development, Yo-Yo, of an identity that says, this is who I am, because I came into God. He found me. He called me into his family, and my little story is caught up in his big redemptive story. And the thing that the Bible just hammers home that normally we don't understand, is that from the get-go, God, the living God, is going to accomplish his redemptive purpose through us. So immediately he's using it. He's working through us. We become the instrument and the vessel that he uses. So a lot of people sign on Jesus because they think, well, he's helping me with my problems, life's better and everything, and that it's right. Yes, Jesus does help you, but he brings you in his family so that he can work through you. So then, what means when we spend time with him and in his presence and we're soaking in his word, what happens is we're going to start getting his heart for people. And another thing is the Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the Spirit of harvest. The Spirit comes upon us to use us, right? The Spirit democratizes ministry. It's not in the hands of powerful people. It's in your hands. And what the Spirit does is start helping you see people.
Man, you're just preaching right now.
Yeah.
You're just preaching. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
So I haven't even got the Bible yet, bro. So now remember this. Okay. Remember the little gig in Nazareth? So Jesus goes back to hometown, and they're all happy. Oh, do what you did and all this kind of stuff. And he starts talking about non-Jewish people, right? He says, hey, wait a minute, when there was a famine over here, God sent Elijah over to this place. They want to throw him off the cliff. Yeah. Why? Because they thought they were God's people. Everybody else is screwed. And Jesus is like, no. The Father loves everybody, and so he was hammering them. To them, they were hidden people. They couldn't see them. Jesus said, no, these are exactly the people that God sees. Yeah. And then the two feedings. It always puzzled me. Why 5,000? Why 4,000? You look at Mark, it happened. Both feedings happen like that. So I was ransacking through some commentaries. The best thing that I could find out, to me it makes the most sense, right? Which is exactly your topic here on being overlooked, right? The first feeding was in Jewish territory, right? And they come to Jesus and say, Jesus, these people are hungry. They're the hometown kids. They're hungry. Jesus, help them. The second feeding, the geography's changed. It's in Gentile territory. They never bothered to ask Jesus. And it says Jesus had compassion on them and said they need something to eat. So we're raising what we need to hear, man, from the Spirit. This is the work of the Spirit. That's why I said spiritual formation. It's the work of the Spirit to begin to break our hearts for people and give us eyes to see people that we normally wouldn't see.
So you practically, what you're saying is you're not giving us like a look for 5 people, have a conversation. You're saying if your personal spiritual formation is not in check, is not in unison with God, you're not going to be effective. The way to get more effective is to be closer to him.
Right, because we first have to draw near, and the Spirit empower. Because hey, we're all afraid.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember being petrified. I came to faith in a really bizarre way. But I was hearing, you share your faith in some church, and I remember the first time just trying to talk about Jesus, I stuttered like crazy. I said, but I was just gonna say Jesus,
Yeah.
I was scared to death. But what happens is that as we're drawing near, we're in Scripture and we're sensing His heart. The Spirit is putting that into us. We're going to learn. That's when we start to learn skills of how to overcome fear, how to engage. You practice. Like, you don't become a great artist or a great piano player by just sitting down and doing it. You do it because you do it over and over and over again.
True.
So I learned, like, cross-culturally how to engage Thai people in a fresh language and to do stuff. I can do it anywhere. I talk to people on planes. I pray for people in waiting rooms. You learn how to do that. Don't feel bad that you're scared to death. You're supposed to be. Right? That's normal. You just ask Jesus to help you, and then you just start practicing. But if you love and care for people, right, people are going to respond to that. We're not jamming stuff down their throat. Generally, we're scared because we've seen models that are super aggressive. And we think, it's not me, and it goes south. But when we're kind, we're gracious, we love other people, and we're genuinely interested in them, guess what? It lands. And you can talk to anybody. I've prayed for Muslims, for Buddhists, for Hindu. You can talk to people and say, I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for you right now. I mean, people don't reject that because there's a sense of something out there. And so you learn those skills. You'll take that and run with it, and you'll be like up there in your abilities like that.
Wow. That was a masterclass in like 10 short minutes. Man. That was incredible. Well, I mean, that's all the time we have for your sake. Unfortunately, I would love for you. I would take the mic and just go. My gosh.
To be here, man.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Give it up for Pastor Allen. That was an amazing masterclass on missions. That was, you can see, he has it under his belt for sure. He's been under the ministry for sure for over 40 years. So thank you so much for sharing. Well, we're going to step into our next segment. Typically, it's called Better Call Matt. He's in class right now, so it's okay. It's okay if you guys have questions. But before that, I'm going to invite Pastor Jessica Wade to the stage. Come on up to this microphone. Come on up. Guys, this is a monumental moment. I don't know if you all know this, if you're fans of the show or not. If you have never seen an episode, shame on you. I'm just kidding. But Pastor Jessica is actually our first female guest. So thank you so much for showing up.
Thank you.
Yeah, women in STEM. Let's do it. Okay, perfect. So thank you so much. You are essentially, I was going to say youth pastor, but you're actually not the youth pastor of this church. Is that correct?
Correct, in
Okay.
a sense.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am our gatherings and internship pastor, and I
Gatherings.
currently also lead our youth ministry.
Got it. So you're the gatherings pastor.
Yeah.
In all my years of ministry, which is my whole life because I'm a PK, so about 29, I have never heard the word gatherings pastor. What is a gatherings pastor?
The best way to describe it is I am the free safety on a Sunday morning.
Got it.
And all the planning and prep. And so I get to be a part of kind of designing the gatherings, all the elements that go into it to try to make it kind of cohesive. I work really closely with our tech team and our music director, with our lead pastor as far as everything that goes into planning it. And then I take care of everything that could go wrong on a Sunday morning.
Got it. So gatherings for this church means what would another church say, like the Sunday morning experience or the Sunday service. So gatherings. So you're in charge of the gathering, the service.
Yeah.
That makes sense. We got it. Hey, we got it. See, I
Yep.
told you to catch up. Perfect.
Yep.
Sign, random sign. Just pick one. Go. That's the safe one. All right,
works, that
perfect.
works.
Well, we have some questions here for you. We call it the ministry toolbox. We call it the Better Call Matt because we want to learn more about your ministry and different perspectives on ministry. Because some people are called to ministry and they want to be a kids pastor, an admin. But some people, your job just sounded very appealing. We're like, oh, I can be in charge of the Sunday service. I can be in charge of the production. I can make sure everything's together.
Yeah.
I love organization, whatever it is, and that's your role. But what I wanted to highlight for you is you are the gatherings pastor, but you have been asked to lead a role that is not in your realm per se. You were told to be a gatherings pastor, and all of a sudden they said, hey, we need someone to step in to be the youth pastor. And any pastors in this room can raise their hand right now and say, how many of y'all we're called to do one job, and all of a sudden we're doing 5 other different jobs. Raise your hand in this room.
Yep.
Every
Yep.
single one of us have been done that. So this is a part of ministry. Again, this is something I could have mentioned that no one else tells you, is that when you're called to one role, there is more than likely an opportunity or a chance that you'll be doing 5 other roles, because even the word part-time in church world does not mean part-time.
No.
You're getting part-time pay, but you're getting full-time hours for
Yes.
sure. Okay, that's what's happening.
For
Little
sure.
pro tip to the interns in the room: if you get a part-time job at a church, it's gonna be full-time. Just so
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
But
You're storing up treasures in heaven.
you're storing
Yep.
up. Your crown is gonna be decked with jewels for sure.
Yes.
It's gonna be incredible. So when it comes to getting the job of gatherings pastor. So here's the question I have written down. How would you respond to requests that you technically have the right to turn down? This could be for a role.
Yeah.
But it could also be for like, hey, we need someone to go clean the bathroom. Or,
Okay.
hey, we need someone to go stack chairs. You're like, I'm the gatherings pastor? Do you know what that means? You know.
Yeah.
So what is your response to something you could technically turn down as a pastor?
So number one thing I tell all of our interns, I tell our students, any leaders I'm working with, is you are never too good to do something. You've never arrived. You're never in a place where you are too good to do something. I have an example. On a Wednesday night, I came in and the bathroom, oh my word, the girls' bathroom, the toilet was covered.
I'm going to say it right now. I was a janitor at 2 different churches. The girls' bathroom is always the worst one.
It
I'm
was-
just going to say it.
It was bad.
I'm just going to say it. In 2 different states, too. So I have some general knowledge. I was at a janitor at a university, a church, and another church in 3 different states. Girls' bathroom is always the worst. Just going to say it. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was bad, but youth was starting. Like literally, they were starting
Oh,
the worship set.
word.
I didn't have anybody to grab, and so I scrubbed that toilet and I cleaned it because I knew students would be coming in there soon. Was that the best use of my time? Absolutely not. But I will do what needs to be done. I've
Yeah.
stacked all the chairs in the sanctuary. I have laid them out. I've done it all because I'm not too good for that. There are times that you have to prioritize your time. Like my job is shepherding, leading those. And so there are times I need to prioritize that and make sure I'm doing my job, what I'm called to. But I never want people to think that they're too good to do something because they've reached a certain level in ministry. We're all called to be servant leaders. And so I don't ask my team, I don't ask our students to do something I'm not willing to do myself.
One thing I've heard my entire preach, that was awesome. One thing I've heard a lot through my ministry is that if you're too big to serve, you're too small to lead. So if you're
yeah.
too big to do the small job,
Yep.
you're too small to lead everybody else.
Yeah.
And I think that's so true in that instance there, especially. But what does it look like to be in a position of leadership you may feel qualified for or unqualified for? I'm not sure how you got the job for youth pastoring in a sense of how did you feel? Because I know sometimes youth pastoring can be intimidating,
Yeah.
right? Where you're like, we need you to be the cool guy at the church, basically. You're like,
I
huh?
find it easier to speak in front of adults upstairs
Yep.
than I do in front of teenagers down
Yeah,
here.
'cause
It
y'all
is-
mean.
It is a lot harder because they
Y'all are
don't
mean,
hide their
bro.
feelings.
No, they don't.
If they are not connecting or they don't like what you're saying, you get the stink eye.
Yeah.
They sit there with their arms crossed and you're like, okay, you don't like me. This is
or they
not
get,
fun.
or you get the no eye. They're like this. They're just,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
I don't wanna be here right
Absolutely.
now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I get
Way
it.
more intimidating.
So what does that look like? Like, how does it, we'll see the question again. I'm just keep it real here, okay? I wrote the questions down, okay? What does it look like to be in a position of leadership you may feel qualified or unqualified for? What is that feeling of like, I have to step into this? Either I feel I'm overqualified, qualified enough, or I feel underqualified right now.
From my personal ministry experience, I've never felt qualified to do what I'm doing, which I think is a good thing. It's terrifying, but it also makes me really rely on the Lord. And is this what He wants me to do? When I stepped into youth ministry, it was during a transition. Our previous youth pastor, she had to step out because medical reasons. She was pregnant with twins, had her twins early, all of that. And so we were in the process of looking. And I honestly didn't want to be the youth pastor, not because I didn't think I was too good for it or something. It wasn't a step back for me, but I really wanted to make sure that God had the right person in there. And so I argued with the Lord. When He started putting it on my heart, I was like, I don't know. It's not something I think I want to do. I don't feel called to youth in that sense. Some people have a really clear calling, like we are kids, we are youth, whatever. I have never had a very clear calling. That's why my job has so many different facets because I'm not like I'm set in this. so I took it before the Lord, and then he kept prompting me. And so I talked to our lead pastor. And I said, hey, I think we have to have a conversation. And so we did, talked about what that would look like. And it has been absolutely incredible to rely on the Lord to do that, to get to raise up student leaders. The connection I have with our students, some of these students I've known since they were like in first grade. So to watch them fully own their faith now as teenagers or young adults is absolutely incredible. And I would say you want to kind of be unqualified whenever you're in ministry, because it does make you put your faith in the Lord more.
True.
Yeah, you don't want to do it in your own strength. And so it's actually very humbling to be able to do that. And so I would say any ministry area you're seeking, you need to make sure that the Lord's asking you to do that first. One of the things we talk about, one of my mentors had talked about, is that you need that kick the fence post moment, like the corner post if you're putting up a fence. Like that's the strong one. So you need to know the moment that God's called you and what he's asking you to do, and then reevaluate it and tell that story. Tell it to people, write it down for yourself, because you need to know this is what the Lord's asked you to do, because it's going to be so hard sometimes.
Yes.
You're going to walk away from a Wednesday
Sometimes.
night or Sunday night or wherever your youth ministry is, and you're going to feel like, I said it all wrong. They didn't connect with me. This is horrible. I don't want to do this anymore. And you need to know that Lord asked you to be where you are for a specific reason, even when you don't get to see the fruit right away.
I love that, because a main point you're highlighting is obedience.
Yeah.
Where you're like, man, I don't feel like I'm supposed to be here. And I think of Joshua when he was called to lead the Israelite people, a nation, like millions of people in the desert, just wandering around, and he was supposed to go on a war campaign, all these different things. Mm-hmm. And he was told like 3 or 4 times in one chapter, be strong and courageous.
Yeah.
Because he probably wasn't feeling very strong and courageous. And I think a lot of times when we step into these ministry roles, we're not feeling strong and courageous.
No.
There's so many times I'm like, the one of the mottos of Youth Alive is every student, every school. Every student? Every school?
That's a big ask.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
There's over 1.3 million students in the Washington, North Idaho network alone.
Wow.
And I'm like, man, that's a big ask,
Yep.
right? So it's true. It's like, man, I don't feel like I walk away from my job sometimes. Like, man, am I doing anything? I'm confused today, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
you
Yep.
ever walk away from a Wednesday night service, like, I think I might have let some kids away from the Lord. I don't know what I did wrong. I was like,
Yep.
my gosh. But then like, it's in those moments where where someone says like, man, that was the best message I ever heard.
Yeah.
You killed it. And like, all I know is like, man, that was all God. Because
Yep.
I cannot I'm not as good as you think I am. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
And that's where the glory goes to him.
Yep.
So I love those perspectives you're pointing out right there. That's incredible. And we switch to another question here. How do you make long-term decisions for a ministry you're theoretically not supposed to be in long-term?
Oh, this is hard.
Yeah.
This is so hard, because where I'm at right now, I don't want to make any permanent decisions, because I'm like, I am the placeholder. I'm carrying this. I'm helping it succeed. But at some point, you have to cast vision, because if not, your ministry starts to, kind of go downward. Yeah. And so one thing that I have really tried to do is build a really good leadership team. And so I have a lot of adults that are pouring in to students. They're doing the groups. They're doing those things. So it's not revolving around me. I'm not the main person on that Wednesday night. Okay. And so that makes it way more sustainable, and then I lead those leaders who are going to outlast me in the direction that I feel like God is calling in this season, but they can carry that on whether I'm here or not. Yeah. And so that's how I kind of try to lead from that perspective. I would also say every season is different. And so sometimes we're planning 3-month blocks. Sometimes we're planning a year from now. I have planned way more summer and winter camps than I thought I ever would. But we just booked our next winter camp. We just finished it and we booked it because we're like, well, students need it. So we're just going to hold it as long as we can. And then I think the hardest part will be the transition, when somebody else takes over something that you have been building. And so I try to really hold that open hand and be like, I'm going to support them however they need support, because it's not my ministry. Ultimately, it's God's ministry. And so you work in those blocks in those seasons and realize that it could change, but you still continue to cast God's vision, because overall, he wants hearts won. He wants to draw close to them. And so that's like an overarching theme for any ministry. We want to see teenagers who understand how deeply loved they are, who are willing to lay down their life, surrender to the Lord, and then go out and share that with others. And I think anybody coming in would want the same thing. And so you look at the big piece, and then you figure out the little pieces that can kind of fit with it.
That's so good, because hearing that reminds me of David and Solomon. David wanted to build a temple.
Yeah.
He really wanted to build a temple, but God said, no, you're not the guy for that.
Yep.
And so what he did instead is get everything ready
Yep.
for the next guy,
Yeah.
which was Solomon,
Yeah.
who built the temple. And I think that's like where your position is right now. That's how I felt in Arizona. I was the Arizona Youth Life Director, and as soon as I took the job, because it was a crazy story in itself, it happened within a week. It was insane. But I took the job, and I felt like this job was supposed to be for somebody else.
Yeah.
The entire time, I was like, this is not mine. This feels so weird. And so everything I did was to set it up for the next person
Yep.
who ultimately was my assistant, who was with me the entire time. She's going to take it over. She has already.
Wow.
And she's killing it in Arizona.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, man, that's a crazy, that's just the model of leadership that we should always have. Not
Yeah.
even just like because you're the interim, but I think it's important for any position of leadership because
Yeah.
we're not eternal.
No,
We're not
no.
immortal. Like there's going to be a next person, even if we're here for a whole life.
Yep.
Someone else is going to take the job.
We are constantly asking even our students, who is coming up after you? Who are you pouring into? Who is going to replace you? So we always want to build that pipeline no matter what, no matter if you're greeting at a door, no matter if you're running tech, whatever it is, you're always trying to kind of build people up to replace yourself.
Yeah.
And so any ministry, whether it's, mine is an interim position, but my other ministries aren't. And I'm still trying to raise people up who could do what I'm doing in that capacity because we're never meant to carry it all. We're not to be the ones that is a really bad place to be. And if you don't
Yes.
know who could take over after you, that means that you're trying to do it all in your own strength. You need to be raising up people because you need to give them the opportunity to use their giftings and to be developed and to have a safe place to fail and to be coached and to learn. And if you don't give them those opportunities, they're never going to learn and grow.
It's true. I mean, even in Youth Live, that's what we teach students. They're going to start a Youth Live club, but these students are going to graduate in 4
Yeah.
years. It's like, who's the next person?
That's a built-in timeline. You're like,
Exactly.
you've got 4 years,
You
figure it
have
out.
4 years. You better have someone else because
Yeah.
this school needs this campus club. This school
Yeah.
needs a gospel presence because, again, it's the most strategic mission field.
Yep.
I'm going to say
Yep.
it, one of the most strategic, all right? Because where else in the world are you going to find like 1,000 kids required by law to be in the same place 5 days a week?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't hear any answers, right? So that's why we always encourage people with the most strategic mission field. But so now you're done. Thank you.
done.
Thank
Okay.
you. To give it up for Pastor Jessica, she killed it. Again, women in STEM, we love it. We love it. Women in ministry as well. Well, guys, we're going to step into our discussions. We have 3 questions for you guys. If you're students in this place, you can discuss these questions here. Those online, take a picture of the chat here. Discussion questions. What's something you feel called to that you don't really feel ready for? Who are the people in your school or church that everyone else seems to walk past? And what's one way you can show up for someone this week that nobody asked you to? These are 3 questions. You guys can get in discussion groups real quick and discuss that. And then give it for Pastor Allen and Pastor Jessica. Thank you so much for being with us. And thank you, True Grace. That has been Callcast Broadcast. Go and end the stream, Greenie. End the stream. Hurry, please. End it, please, right now. End it. Okay, we're good.